of draconic worship in issues in the area. I actually was hoping to examine that with you and not go by myself, but if there's anything I can help you with that you're doing, that might be a good use of time for now.
No, I was going to talk with the other garrison at the exit of the town.
So, you heard that rumor about dragon cultists or some such?
Yes, it seems like a very large problem here.
Yeah, such a large problem. Never really had that issue prior. Seems to have just kind of popped up all of a sudden the instance that people have made a little bit of an issue with some other sort of figure saying what they should do about the town or not. Seems a little strange to me.
A little insane for the rule. This is my personal thing to see if she pieces together the town.
Oh, okay. Uh, I mean, he's being very direct with like with what he's putting forward regarding that. It's like because here's the thing. I feel like if the monastery doesn't want to deal with that, they have every right to say that. And it just seems, you know, heavy-handed. Like they're trying to make a point of something. Oh, yeah, you definitely sort of get the idea that this guy is actively disliking, uh, actively dislikes the barricade and is chafing at any sort of idea about this sort of embargo to the town, seeing it more as a power play than as a proper concern. And yeah, so also seems to actively trying to stoke the fires of people to sort of doing a little bit of rabble rousing, as it were. But I'm just a barkeep.
Certainly, what would debasing the reputation of someone that stands in your way have to gain by claiming they are, say, a dragon cultist?
Right?
Surely, surely something that hasn't crossed anyone's mind. Global kind of rolls her eyes because this is like all too familiar to her.
It's like exactly. And like I'm sitting here thinking that hey, if they really wanted to actually go through this, work with us instead of against us, we'd know who's who in town, but no, they gotta bring in specialists and whatnot. I mean, really. We got two different churches in town. I mean, one of them would have figured out something's happening. Yeah, but I don't know. There are all sorts of different sort of thoughts on the matter, and right now we're not starving because luckily they decided to allow the farmers to actually keep doing their work, and the smiths keep doing that. So, I mean, I have heard that the farmers have been getting harassed, though, and I mean, it's okay, gotcha. Um, it's not as if like Osmond really would, not tell you everything about it if he could. He's more riled up than I think anyone.
Osmond, he was one of the members of the church, yes?
No, no, he's a crotchety old turtle that basically is the voice for the farmers and whatnot.
Is it an actual turtle?
That actually was my question, if I'm being perfectly honest.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it came from the, what was it, southern marshes and whatnot.
Cool.
Yeah. A little bit of a rarity, but, people come up the river. That's the way of it.
Little come up the river, like by boat.
Yeah. There's enough rafts.
Surely they didn't have to swim, I suppose, because they do walk like a person, I'm guessing. There are some things like a turtle, not a turtle.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Got it.
Okay, so not like a river taxi.
Well, I mean, the rafts do exactly that, so. Either way, yeah.
What's stopping you from just using the rafts to bypass the blockade?
Oh, no, I'm not talking about the rafts that, like, this river's not really big enough for that. I'm talking about, like, the main rivers that go through Towlong Guo and whatnot. Those rivers are the ones that really have the good movement. Ours were only good for, some logging and and fishing. So that's the way of that. But I mean, if you're here, you wanted to buy something. I mean, the money goes to a good cause. We're all stuck here.
Do you have any tinder boxes?
You just at the general store.
Yeah, I would. Okay, see. Yeah, I could sell you that. However,
Wait, no, sorry. I'm very distracted. What do you actually sell here?
oh, we do the weaponry and whatever strange little bits and bobs that other sort of individuals come through with. Basically, you adventurous sort, you come through the tavern and usually have stuff that you want to sell. So I made a deal with Chen Yun, as if it was like, pulling teeth. And,
Do you have bits and bobs? I would be interested in seeing what you might have.
Love to hear that. Its pickings are pretty slim, I'd say, currently. But yeah, I can get you some stuff. In particular, going to grab. Gonna come back with like a sort of what's obviously like meant for like beer and stuff, but instead has like potions. And there's like 24 that have like various different potions that are kind of like sitting in there. It's like potions, and
Real quick, while he steps away to go get this stuff.
Okay.
I was gonna turn to Doris and be like, I really don't care what he has to sell. I'm going to go speak with the garrison, and then I will meet you at the church.
That's a monastery, yes.
Monastery, yes. Okay,
All right, sounds good. Let me know what you find.
right. I will try to secure an easy passage out.
So yeah, gonna come back with the potions and be like, we also have some other sort of like, weirder things like caltrops.
I was hoping you had some things that would be more useful to an arcanist, if there was any such things you had.
Oh, let me pull out something a little more interesting then.
I also understand there is a shortage, so if you don't have any things, it's understandable.
Yeah, I'm trying to, cause like, usually there's a lot more back and forth that's happening here, but then a lot of adventurers have gotten word of the, the road being kind of the way it is, and have decided, well, with the pseudo-legal stance that we have, going through a guard post seems not like the best position. And like, I ran the barges for a long time. I've had my share.
So you've been up and down the river a lot, have you?
Yeah, it was It was hard as hell to get my family to allow me to do that, but
Would you happen to know then what's been going on with Rundin village recently? I hear that they are sort of guiding a lot of caravans and barges around them as opposed to being allowed to go through.
it's an ill tiding, friend.
Oh?
From what I heard, the whole town washed out. Which you might say, oh, that makes sense because of the river. You go, that river hasn't flooded.
That is quite interesting. Are there any elemental imbalances in the area? Would anything have been out of sorts or upset by any sort of recent dammings or flowing of the river to a different direction?
There hasn't been any sort of construction around this place in that way. The mine's a good distance away because, of course, you don't want a mine flooding. And the druidic folk don't seem to have any issue. I know I haven't felt any sort of arcane effects that are on the happenings. So...
Are you a mage as well?
And, like, snaps his fingers, and there's, like, kind of like silver sparks come out of it. It's like, from birth?
Ah. Oh, are you a silver dragon?
Yeah.
Or of the king?
House of Silver. True and through.
I actually have very significant news for you, my friend, that I think you might want to sit down for.
Alright. I mean, it takes a little bit to knock me over. And it goes, should these two be ears for it, or...
Who's there? I'm looking over.
Oh, well, that's William and God, how am I forgetting? And the girl's gonna look over and be fucking pissed.
Just make up the names. Just be like, that's Carl and Steve, the Chinese names.
Yeah, exactly. No, so then William's there, and he goes, "My name's Hong Lu." It's like, yeah, I remembered that. It's like, then why'd you say it? He's like, because... So I took a... I'm sorry.
No defense. Indefensible.
Yeah. Exactly. And so... I'm going to say,
I mean,
okay.
do you know them? Are they your friends? Are they also...
Yeah, well, I mean, William's
Are they
been
also
working here for a
individuals of the
while.
House of Silver as well?
No, they're not house associated.
I would say
they're
this
just
is
staff.
only for you. I would say this is only for your ears. then.
Okay. How about you guys do some, help with the kitchen and back, and do a little bit of storage, and you're gonna see William kind of goes along, and like Huang Lu is like staring daggers at this guy, and William's like, "Come on, we don't need to."
Are they doing that thing where they're sweeping like a place that's already been swept? It's being like,
Huang Lu is behind the counter, so was doing like some other sort of stuff that was there. So just like, okay, fine, and like they both head and go to the back, and it's like, all right, stranger from afar, you got news.
your curse has been lifted, my friend.
Bullshit.
You are no longer the curse of the House of Silver. You are no longer bound beneath it.
I don't buy it.
I understand this is a lot to take in,
Yeah,
but Razmira has been dealt with. Their essence has been scattered, and you don't have to believe me, but I would not have specifically set aside time to ask after your patronage and have your employees leave to give you this information if I was not deadly serious. I have been ensuring that other members of the House of Silver have been made aware of such things.
You hear an obvious sort of clinking sound from underneath the bar, and he goes, "Now you're a good sort. I can tell. Because I've been around liars for a lot of my life. And I know you're not telling a lie. But a word to the wise, in a place that's been supposedly overrun by dragon cultists, coming in and talking about the sort of nature of, and dropping a dragon name like that, one particularly associated with mine, it's a dangerous method, friend.
I am aware of this, but this is information that I feel as though you deserve to have. There are certain things that I will be keeping under lock and key. That is one that, if anyone on this earth has the ability to, and the right to know this knowledge, it would be you and yours. May you do with it what you will. And then Durst is going to place a coin on the counter, pick up just like... Was there anything left on the counter?
There be the potions.
I'm just gonna leave it. I'm just gonna leave a gold piece on the counter. Fuck it. So he leaves a gold piece on the counter and just like walks out.
He's gonna look at that, then look at you, and be like, "Where are you headed?"
But I'm already gone. I'm already gone.
He's gonna mage hand the door closed and go, "Where are you headed?"
To the monastery. Why?
Do you know where it is?
I feel as though it's a big building. Why did you want to guide us?
Yeah. Have you seen a monastery inside the city?
No, not yet.
Well, if it's such a big building, why didn't you see it? It's not in town, friend. It's a little ways out.
Ah, I see. Sorry, I just saw the door shut immediately, and I wasn't aware if I was going to be stabbed in the kidneys or not.
No. Listen. I try and keep my fighting days in the past.
As do I. Which is
So-
why I'm glad you chose not to do the kidney stabbing, because my kidneys they have enough work going on as we get older.
As it is. No, but let me
If you would like to show us where it
come
may
over
be.
here. I'll draw you a map real quick.
Thank
And
you.
he's gonna take out the full morning star and put it on the top and like take out a
Oh, he was just like, he was literally like brandishing like a fucking shotgun under the table this entire time.
Mhm.
Oh.
Right after you said Razimira, that was the clink noise. He goes, let me draw
That's
you a
fair.
map. And so yeah, for a guy who says, there's no dragon cultist, to be like, that's a fucking dragon cultist. So yeah, he actually like he draws you up a map because it's a good ways, and he's like, so again, you're bringing me information I can't validate or otherwise, but you're doing it inside of a goodwill. So I'm gonna say to you, that path to the monastery, you're going to bet your bottom goddamn gold that thing's being supervised. They've got agents on watch. They want to keep them on look, because they know if anyone's causing an issue for them to actually get into this town, it's that monastery.
Out of curiosity, the one thing that I'm concerned about, do you know anything about the monastery or not really?
Yeah, good folk.
Do you know why they would be so opposed to having any of their scrolls being examined by the Church of Ash?
Because it has nothing to do with being a dragon cultist.
What?
As in, those are records of the history of the valley. Why would the Church of Ash need to look at that if all that they need to do is come in and try and figure out if there's any sort of dragon cultists inside the city? They have every right to be concerned about this out of nation, the most powerful church, coming in to their premises, into their holy space, and bumping around inside of the Church of Nuan Ami is all about that record keeping.
Yes, and there are many records that should not see the light of day ever again. I understand this sort of concern, as I believe you should if you had sense in the matter.
What I'm seeing is a small group of people sticking to their guns.
In many cases, I would admire this, and I would believe that this sort of sense is well done, but there's too much at stake. I understand what you're saying, and we will try to move undetected on the roads. I cannot thank you enough, and I hope you may, at a point, trust the information I've given you and do with it what you will, but
I'll pass it along. That I will do.
to other members of the House of Silver, I am sure.
Yeah, that's why I was posted here. I get news, I send it along to the Silver Mill.
Good.
That's the way of it. Because, you know, I'm not the sort to sort of stick around and be a homebody. So instead of me, you know, busting out and running about and getting back into the adventuring thing, you know, after getting captured and whatnot and being ransomed, they kind of didn't want me to do that again, so they posted me up here.
Well, I suppose you might have a good way to get back in good standing with them if you have this news.
Oh, I'm in good enough standing. It happened. I mean, as far as I know.
Well, yes, they did pay for your ransom. If they didn't, that might be a good indication.
They wanted to pay, but I told them this I'll figure my way out of this.
Who captured you?
Anyone who figured out it was they figured out that was the House of Silver, and so it was a regular sort of, you know, river bandit sort of raid.
I see.
Then they found
must
out
have
that
been
I was the
very
most valuable commodity, and they held me.
Who are you to the House of Silver?
Well, I mean, former Marine, I'll say that much. You know, it's
I wish my friend Grimwell would have been here to speak with you. I feel like they would have had quite a lot to say about this. I'm sure they would know more. I apologize for my lack of knowledge. I don't know much about the Blooded Houses.
no, it's fine. It's better that way.
That's fair.
The House
Anyway.
of Silver's a strange one. Kind of lets people do what they want to do to a certain point, especially when, because you know my line of work. If I die, well, that's just one less head to have to consider. Not that
anymore.
they refuse to let me say that, but hey, no one's here to say otherwise.
Also, it's not true anymore, friend. I must go. Thank you very much for this information. We will try to make our way to the monastery carefully and see what we can figure out.
Yeah, he's gonna mage hand up the coin and like flip it back and like grab it and be like, "Have a good one."
You as well. You can leave.
Yeah. So cool. Glim, you're heading to go to the other.
Do you want me to do Lucy? First,
Yeah, I could totally do Lucy or
Yeah,
Ashii.
like what's Lathryn been up to right now? What's Lucy doing?
Lucy,
Is
you're
it noon?
by the river. Is it noon? Yeah,
She's waiting for noon.
we could say it's getting there. Actually, roll me a survival check.
Ooh, I'm good at that.
Mhm.
Still staring at those glass doors breaking, cackling.
That's Lucy entering anywhere.
Bitches. By the way, Ben, we're heading to the silver mill to tell the people with the letter from the mayor about
Yes.
the curse.
Did not remember that even remotely.
That's why I was letting you know.
Okay. You're able to sort of like you gauge like a few different things. You sort of see some like yeah, you're able to gauge just like from like the little bit of shimmer of the sun through that you're like it's getting really close. It's getting really close to noon. So yeah. Is that what you're waiting for? You're waiting for it to be
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
waiting for it to be noon.
Sure,
and
let's
I'm gonna,
let's say it's noon. Let's just get right to it.
I'm gonna shimmy my way over to like the edge of the land where it meets the water, and I am going to hold my axe in my hand. Well, I'm gonna pull my hood down, and I'm gonna hold my axe in my hand and just put one leg in the water.
Okay. You kind of stand there for a moment. You feel the water kind of moving past your feet, and you kind of get into this, because you don't know what's going to happen. It happened one time. You don't even know if it's necessarily going to work. And kind
If it
of
helps, Lucy has faith that it's gonna work.
Yeah, absolutely. And you close your eyes and you kind of linger on this faith that's happening here, but you get, I'm going to say you get a different vision than what you expected. That dream that you had is much clearer. You see the smoking ruins that were... You see the smoking ruins, and you very much know that's a place that you've been, that you saw turn into ruins. And you see, in the dead of night, a thing that you've been watching stalking you move up with gangly limbs through the burning husk and pick out a body and raises it up. And you see the shadows of the night form around this body, and the hands start to twitch, and you see a strange vigor return to it. And you hear, as you're coming back to this sort of like sense, you hear this piercing, ethereal, demonic voice as the last thing you hear, where it's Hunger! Find them! And you come to. And you're profusely sweating.
Same.
Luckily, it's lightly raining out.
Ooh. I'm going to put my hood up and grab my axe and walk to town and find Flim and Durst.
Your axe, holding onto it, there's this strange feeling of concern or worry coming from it.
Can I sense if it's concern or worry for me, or like something's gonna happen and I'm gonna be around? Like, am I physically, mortally in danger? Or
Insight check.
okay.
Nat 1. Axe, you do care.
You love me. Well,
You get a sense that the concern is for you, but
okay.
also for itself.
That's the same thing.
No, it's not. In this moment, you are very aware it is not.
Interesting.